Okay, so I've been set the task of trying to improve this lovely drawing, very nice sensitive line drawing, and adding some more shading. Now it appears that the drawing has been done with a mechanical pencil, so to create a lot of shading is quite difficult with mechanical pencils. With a regular pencil, something that you can do is vary the thicknesses of your lines, so their exaggeration. And that's something we might want to do with a shadow like this. Now, what we could do if we're using a straight mechanical pencil, we could use things like line. That's something called hatching. So for example, down the side of this rocket here, we could introduce some line. To try to give that a more shadowed feeling. So we could use what's known as hatching, or also we could further add to that by what we call cross hatching. And that's how some artists would do that. They may do it finer. Okay, and then to create the illusion of it getting lighter as it comes across, then the hatching or the cross hatching would be made to look further apart. So imagine that's the other side of the rocket. Okay, so in this case you can also suggest 3D form by altering line. As I mentioned just now, you can make your lines darker or lighter to create line. Now for this, what's been done so far, it looks like the main light source is coming in from this side, which means that everything down that side is going to be in shadow. So what I can do for these main tube areas, I can just start to make the lines to the left of everything along here and along here thicker. Here as well. Get a bit thicker, and then part way across some of these curves. So already that's been done a little bit, but we're just going to exaggerate a little bit more. That starts to give more of a 3D idea. Okay, so I'm just doing it on these this side of the explosions as well. So everything that's to the left, or actually everything that is underneath, would appear a little bit darker. Okay. Now, if I want to continue my shading in, especially if this is a tube, I can start with my line, and then I can use my pencil on its side to create a shadow. And there I'm pressing quite hard. To make it start to go gradually lighter, I do the same again, but I don't press quite as hard until I continue and continue until I go across to the other edge. So I'm just going to introduce that a little bit here. Starting quite hard, and then I'm coming across. Do a little bit here. What I would do if I wasn't videoing this, I would actually turn my paper So I was working under a straight edge like that. It's easier to do because your hand is used to moving in that way if you're right-handed, or obviously if you're left-handed, working that way. So that's a start. A little bit more here. As I say, I'm pressing hard and then I'm pressing more lightly as I go across. We've got to be careful with that detail there, so I'm going to leave that in highlight and just come across that way. So a lot of this one would be in shadow because this part is sticking out further. Okay. And here, again, depending on, all I'm doing is pressing harder on the left side, and as I come across, I'm not pressing as hard at all. Okay, so this is probably the best way to do it with thin things like a rocket. If I was doing something a little bit wider, say like a wider tube, I would start to shade like this. This is a curved surface, so it's curved at the top and bottom, so we need our shadows to follow the line of the object. Okay, so we have curves, curves, curves. So down this side, I would probably start by doing that. I could carry on in the same way as before, but I actually prefer to give the idea of the object being rounded. To follow the curves around. Okay, so that's quite a strong shadow on the left, and then just slightly lighter as we go up to the edge there. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit.